All right, guys, welcome back to Alliance Tournament 15. The feeder rounds, 4 teams remain. Only 2 will advance to Alliance Tournament 15. And my goodness, we've got Rote, Kapelle in red here, and CO2 in blue. The bans, as we talked about, is Basilisk, Vigilant, Geddon, Gila. The most common pick ship and the best win rate for any logistics for this entire tournament has been the Oneros. Neither team has taken an Oneros, as we'll show you what they did bring and put it up on screen for you so you can see the match. Another instance of these two teams warping in at range, but they both chose beacons that were quite similar. So they've got an acute or a 90-degree angle towards one another, so they are very close. They got to be about 60 kilometers away from most. And my goodness, this is going to be a lot of explosions. I think this is the first time we've seen a Gnosis fielded, and it's definitely the first time we've seen an Ibis. So cool stuff there. I'm going to throw it to the commentators so they can break down a little bit about what we're about to see, who to focus in on.
All right, so Rote bringing the pretty standard Quad Navy BC core plus a Star A Guardian, while CO2 have brought also a pretty standard Navy Quad Navy BC with a Guardian as well. But CO2, instead of actually bringing the two Gnosises, which I've actually had a look at, and they're actually railgun fit. So there's going to be lots of rails on the CO2 side, while Rote, they've brought their support is a Hyena, Heretic, and 2 Daredevils.
And as previously mentioned by Elise, the Rote Kapelle side had their team warp in at both 30 and 50, whereas the CO2 side all warped in together at 50. However, they are also at a 90-degree angle, so they're actually a lot better than would be expected. About, I would say, 70 to 90 from each other.
These warp-ins are pretty standard for these type of setups. It does look like Rote went for a little more of an offensive, warping their Quad Navy BCs 30 instead of the usual 50, which might work for them here. The entire CO2 did warp at 50, as you said. It's going to see what the positioning war is going to be like. I have a feeling those Daredevils are probably they might go around, they might rush in, or they might actually hold back and bring their Navy Brixes and Harbingers in first to soak up the damage. While the CO2 team are just, their entire core is lots of railguns and lots of beams. They really bring much support. I mean, they brought an Ibis support and a Vexen of Thorax. Pretty interesting support, if you ask me. Let's see if that Sino Ibis, ECM Ibis can actually do work. I have a feeling it's probably going to get insta-deleted by these Navy Harbingers and Navy Brixes, but we'll see. It could be like some Mega Tank or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that Ibis can actually make some work on it. And Roadside brought those, the 2 Daredevil, which is pretty standard. Heretic, so bringing an Interdictor instead of a cruiser. So it's a pretty interesting pick for Rote Kapelle, and a Hyena as well. So extra webs, get that extra control, and the Heretic for some of that light missile support.
Yeah, and a lot of players are probably confused about why bring an Ibis. It's a rookie ship, or a Corvette now they're commonly called, only worth 1 point, and so some people say, why not use the point and upgrade one of your other ships? But the reality is that this Ibis gets an ECM bonus, and we have seen it in the past where an Ibis actually can get some ECM jams off and kind of save the game, for at least like temporarily distracting the other team. So it's never underestimate the rookie ships, and I'm hoping that the Rote Kapelle side doesn't completely ignore it and then, I don't know, have their Guardian get jammed or something crazy like that.
If that Guardian does get jammed by that Abyss, I am giving that dude on TQ 1 billion ISK. Right now, calling it now. Zyke, if you're listening, I will give you 1 billion ISK if you jam that Guardian on the Rote side. Right now, calling it now. But I have a feeling that Rote is not going to let that happen, and it's going to get insta-deleted. So there you go. There's your challenge. Abyss. If you can jam that Guardian, you've earned yourself 1 billion ISK. And it has to be a full 20-second jam, not like 2 seconds and then get zonked.
I mean, that's a really risky gamble. Now that we don't have casinos anymore, I guess this is what people have resorted to. We do have 3 minutes until the match starts. Well, I think it's down more to like 1 minute. So these teams are in second to the last match of the game.
Yep, 30 seconds left on the match. CCP Logibro saying in local that Satonia will give him a billionist. So there you go, Satonia. Satonia, you're going to have to give this Zyg 1 billionist if that Guardian is being jammed. So thank you there, Logibro, for saving me. Links are going down, 10 seconds. What do you think is going to happen? I have a feeling that this guy's going to get zonked. 5 seconds left, links are going off. This is going to be one hell of a match.
So my guess is CO2 is going to try to primary that hyena because that hyena is crucial for control in the field as well as the target painter bonus. But I don't know, we're not seeing anyone get shot at first.
Absolutely. Oh, and what did I say? Ibis is going to try and get headshot, but he's actually holding. He's dead. There we go. Not billionist anymore. He's down.
He wasn't even ECMing, attempting to ECM the Guardian. It looked like he was going for the Navy Harvey, the Navy Brutix. I didn't quite catch it. Although there's a lot of tracking disruptors from the CO2 side on the Rote side. So definitely trying to throw off the, what you call them, the beams, the rails, try to get them like not able to apply as well, even though they still have that hyena on the field. The
Absolutely.
CO2 Guardian is falling very quickly, not even holding on.
Absolutely, and I think these Gnosis, all those extra mid slots that they have in an armor thing, they're actually tracking disrupting those Navy Harbingers and Navy Bruxes, really doing work. But that doesn't matter because the Rote Kapelle side is just brawling in. They know that they're being track disrupted, so they're just going to brawl into that Guardian, try and kill him as much as possible. Meanwhile, on the Rote side, Guardian is just sitting there just fine. The Rote side is actually just tanking fine. Guardian down for CO2 is not looking good for them now. They've still got their core and they still got their Gnosises, but the Rote side still has their entire enemy team. It does look like that Navy Brutix is taking more damage now. Looks like they're actually splitting between the two Navy Brutixes. They really need to actually kill one of these Navy Brutixes or try and go for that headshot on the Guardian before these tracking disruptors fall from the Gnosises and Thoraxes and Vexes. I have a feeling they're actually going to come from there. Gnosis is also going down. There's lots and lots of red bots, and there is a boundary right now. A boundary on one of the Gnosises. That's actually quite a lot. They're actually really at the arena right now.
Homer Simpson, the Gnosis, actually boundary, which is actually a throw because if he stayed along just a little longer, his team might have been able to pull back. But obviously, it's not going to help them now.
Absolutely. He was actually being primaried anyway, but it would have been nice to have him on field for an extra 10-20 seconds. Use those tracking disrupting effectiveness. Second Gnosis down now, and those tracking disruptors did drop. So those Gnosis definitely had, and the Guardian goes down for Rote as well. But I have a feeling they're actually still into this. It's Quad Navy BC Core versus Quad Navy BC Core with support. But those tracking disruptors from the Gnosis really, really helped CO2 side. Now they're down, and looks like the Heritage just get insta-deleted from the Rote side, and it does look like the CO2 are going for support. Navy Brutix now is taking a lot of damage, so he's going to be primary for the Rote side. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what will happen here. They need to kill this support, or they need to killing these Navy Brutixes. They need to start trading DPS, as this is a DPS war at this point. Navy Brutix still alive, but he'll be going down soon. And Rote are just sitting quite nicely, actually. That Navy Brutix has actually recovered. Lots and lots of red bots still on field. Navy Brutix down for CS2.
Yeah, CO2 has been primarying the support of the Rote Kapelle side, taking down both that Heretic and the Hyena, which should hopefully help them. But like you said, it's a DPS race. We're just going to see who's going to primary who. Those use of the rep bots is definitely going to be key here because if your ship can last even just a little bit longer than the enemy, even though if you die in the end, it might still help your team push you over the edge. It's pretty much a DPS race, even though Rote Kapelle still has almost double the CO2 points on the screen.
Absolutely, and that Navy Brutix from Yumi, he's actually burning away. He's like micro warp driving. He's trying to get away as far as possible to win that DPS race. Remember, these are actually gun quad BC cores, so the further you away, the less damage, and he is just completely burning away. He's trying to get as far away from that quad Navy BC core, try and reduce that damage, and it does look like it's actually worked. He's on the sliver of structure right now. Those armor rep bots are so many armor rep bots right now. Navy Harbingers going down on the CO2 side, and those Navy Harbingers, they're just sitting at, and Navy Brutix finally down. But I think it's way too late at this point. They've already lost their 2 Navy Brutixes, and they're about to lose a Navy Harbinger as well.
Yeah, I think this goes to Rote Kapelle, even though unless saying unless they, I want to say boundary ballet or do something a little crazy, like it does look like CO2 has lost, and this victory should go to Rote.
Absolutely. Rote, pal, they played. They definitely knew what they needed to do. They most likely knew those Gnosis would have tracking disruptors in those mids. There's no other reason why you would pick Gnosis in the first place. Gnosis are renowned to have 6 mid slots, so they have a lot of mid slots they can play with, especially when they're bomber tank. When you're only using 3 mids for a capacitor mod, scram, and a micro warp drive, they've got 3 spare mids, and they most likely had they definitely had tracking disruptors. So Rote, what they did, they had to brawl in, they had to kill the Guardian before he burnt away, and that is what they did. They didn't even trade anything. They probably traded maybe a hyena and a heretic, and at that point it was pretty much game over. It was a massive brawl between the quad navy BC cores, and basically it was just a trade after that. The Guardian did go down for Rote Kapelle, but at that point CO2 already lost most of both of their Gnosis, some of their support at that point. Tracking disruptors did help them at the very start, but I think it was too little too late.
Yeah, Rote did amazing target calling, immediately getting the Ibis with the ECM bonus off the field, as well as going for the CO2 Guardian. They just finished off the last Vexer, and with that, Rote Kapelle will be going to AT15. We'll send it back to Elise in the studio.